we're going to put a cylinder head temperature sensor in. Now this has got two cooling sensors in it. The engine cooling temperature sensor is down in here. The cylinder head temperature sensor is back here at the back, down here. Hard to get to. The best thing to do is just remove this cowl panel. It's not very hard at all. Remove it out of the way to give a better access. First thing though, we're going to have to remove these wiper arms. Now when you go to remove these, you're going to notice that these things kind of move independently of each other. So and that's okay, because once you start it up and cycle the key on, it'll reset back to the position that it needs to be in. But when you go back with them, you need to try to get it pretty close to where it was, and then you'll cycle your key, turn your wipers on and then off, and then look at them. And if it stops up a little farther than it should, you'll have to come back and loosen it up and move it back down. Another thing you could do on these wipers, if you want to get them pretty close to where they were, is just put a piece of masking tape on it and just mark where they're positioned. That way when you go back, you can just set them in. Okay, so let's take these arms off. On the very end here, there's a little plastic cover. You just grab it with your fingers and pull it off. There is a 15mm nut down here, and there's one here on this side. So we'll loosen them up and take them nuts off. Once you get this nut off, you want to place your hand right here on this top of this, because you're not going to be able to just pull these off. You got to get it loose from them splines inside here. So you'll just get it, you'll just push down like this and just keep pushing up and down, and then grab it and work the back of it out. Do the same thing on that side over there, and then keep these separate. This is the driver's side. Place it where you'll remember it. That's the passenger side. At the end of the video, I'll show you how to reset these wipers at the end. We're going to remove this brake master cylinder reservoir. It's got two T25 bolts right here. We're just going to take them out real quick. We'll leave the hose hooked up on it. We're just unbolting it from the cowl panel. We'll just let that lay down there. Under this front part of this, there is little slide-on metal clips. They look like that right there. Just go along here and find all them clips using a little screwdriver and just pry them off. And there is one here, there's one here, one here, one here, one here, and one here. Now that we have all them clips removed off the front, should be able to just lift this up like this, reach here on the back side and try to detach it from these back clips all the way around it. Next, we'll have 4 of these 10mm bolts. Got one here, there's one right here. On the other side, there's one here, there's one here. That's your wiper motor for the driver's side, that's your wiper motor for the passenger side. But you don't have to remove none of that. Just remove them 4 bolts, and this part here will slide out. Now, if you have one of these engine covers on it, you just need to pop this off the engine. Now we're going to need to remove this cold air induction tube that runs up through here and hooks in here. We have a worm clamp right here, look like a hose clamp, and then one in here, right in here, we'll have to loosen up, and unfortunately that one's pointed in a bad place, so I'll probably just go to this bottom one. I can get to it a little bit easier. We'll get them loosened up, and then we'll go around it here. We'll have to unplug this air temp sensor here. So this has a little push type deal on it here. You push it in, pull it off, detach all these little wiring harnesses. And I'll usually just use like a pair of needle nose pliers, get up under them, try to pull them off without breaking them. Sometimes that's hard to do, like that. And it broke half of it, but it'll still work. You know, pull this here. This right here was clipped in there. Pull it out. Look at that, that broke. It's rotten. I'll have to repair that. This should just unpop right here. It kind of wraps around it. Pull that off. I may even unplug the whole thing right there by just pushing these together and pulling up. Okay. Let me unplug this. Unplug this one here. Go back in here. There's a connector right here. Need to unplug it. I will probably go ahead and take this fuel line off. I'll remove this clamp right here, undo it, and pull this hose down off that. These hose clamps are a 7mm. We'll just loosen them up. That one there. And then one down here. Get on it and get it loosened up. So this clamp right here, I'll just use a pair of wire pliers. Get on it. Try to move that clamp off of it. And once you get that clamp slid down, just take a screwdriver. If you don't have the hose tools that go under this lip, you know, to free that seal up, just take a screwdriver, and you don't want to break anything. You're just breaking the seal from the hose to this plastic. You get that broke loose, you can slide her off. Same thing with this one. Just going in here and just kind of breaking that seal loose. And same with this bottom one. I've already got it pulled loose. But anyway, we'll have another bolt, it looks like. Right down in here. It looks like a 10mm. So we'll have to use right there where my finger's at. I don't know if you can see it. So we have to use a probably an extension and a wobble. So this is a setup I'm using. This is just a wobble socket. If you don't have that, you can probably use this type. If you got one of this type, or just a regular universal wobble. So I got one in here. Yeah, like that. And then put a 10 millimeter socket on it. And an extension. And I'll just slide in here. Probably gonna have to go under. Just like that. Yep. And remove it out. Now that that's all loose, I think I can work it underneath that fuel line without having to remove it. Now if you'll look right here under this, it's like a plastic cover here, that's where the sensor's at. So you just pull that cover up, and then you'll have to reach down here, find that connector, and find that release on that connector just by feel. I couldn't quite get my finger where it needed to be down in here, so I removed this 8 millimeter bolt right here, and that'll give me a little room where I can just kind of push this back just a little. That's it unplugged, and that's what you're going after, is this push release right here. And I had to really push hard. And then the sensor, you'll see the kind of the tan plastic part of the connector sticking up right there. That's what we're going after. This is the new sensor. This is the part number. And that sensor is cheap as far as price wise. That's list price $692. My cost was $526, but if you was to go to Ford dealer, that should be what they charge you, $692 plus tax. Well, that tells me when they get these prices that low on this stuff, they may be fixing to come out with a recall on them. It's the way they usually do it. Anyway, you're going to need a 19 millimeter for this sensor, deep well. And you'll just go down on it like that. Okay, there's the old sensor. Now you'll notice this doesn't have any O-ring or any kind of seal on it anywhere. I guess it just seals itself down here on this brass. I thought about putting Teflon tape down here, but I don't know. It may need that ground from the sensor to work. It may be grounded through the sensor. I don't think it is, but anyway. Stick your new one back in. Make sure you get it threaded right, not cross-threaded. Straight it down as far as you can with your fingers. Just tighten it up. And just put everything back together like you took it off. So this set them in place where you think they should be at. So I'm gonna put them where we marked at. You're gonna take your nut, put it on. You're not gonna tighten it all the way yet. Get a 15 millimeter. Just kind of snugging it there. Coming over to the other side. Get it where I think it needs to be. My nut on it. Just gonna kind of snug it there. Then I'm gonna go inside, turn the key on, turn the wipers on, and then turn the wipers off so they'll park. And now I'm going to check where they're at. This one is pretty dang close, but it kind of needs to come down just a little. This one is right on. So I'll just loosen this up. Push down on it like this again and loosen it. Bring that down just a hair. Snug it up. Repeat this process. Recheck, and you just keep adjusting until you get it where you need it. Like, I don't think that came down far enough, but that's basically all you do. Anyway, if this video helped you out any at all, help me out and like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.